So you are born under the sign of the goat. Did you know that out of all the 12 animal signs, only the goat in 2025 do not have any positive stars? Not to worry, there will be a strategy for you to turn this so-called negative setbacks into something positive. The goats are a little bit like a soul in transition in the year of the snake, probably wrestling with a little bit of their insecurities while trying to find their own footing in a world that often feels unforgiving. So, if you want to find out more, stay tuned. So you're born under the sign of the goat. Well, check this out. No positive stars. And of course, many people are afraid that, hey, no positive star means it's going to be a bad year for me. Not really, if you know exactly what to do. You see, when there are positive stars, then there's a little bit of a push and you can do certain things that might, be favorable. But when there's no positive stars, those years is a year of reflection. Okay, so it's a year that you look inwards and fix the inner side of things so that you can actually become better in the following years. You don't always need positive stars to have a positive year, okay? Now, amongst the so-called negative stars, there's also a positive way to use the negative stars, okay? So firstly, let's address all of these things first. Firstly is the funeral door, and then you have the earth funeral, you have the great Shah, you have the flying chase, you have the moon Shah, you have the leopard tail, you have the separating edge. It sounds like shit, right? But not to worry, here's what you need to do, all right? So listen up. The first thing is, this is a great year to practice and develop resilience. The courage to keep on going despite there are some setbacks in the year and make some mistakes here and there. You know what? So, goats' willingness to stay in the game shows strength, even when they might feel a little bit weak inside, okay? So this is important for you to understand. That's number one. Number two, it's a great year for self-awareness. Develop some self-awareness. It's a budding recognition of your own actions, your words, and their impact on other people. Because with the leopard tail, it's very easy to offend other people, and you don't even know why you offended other people. So it's important to become aware of this. So self-awareness is a great spiritual development, okay? This is like the foundation for change and growth. So this is a great year for that, right? Be aware of some of the words that you're saying, the flaws, and try to improve them. That's great for development, okay? And optimism, you need that in the year that you actually don't have any positive star. So, commitment to finding the light, and even when you're surrounded by some darkness, that commitment to do that is important, despite, not having any good stars. Make sure that you cling on to hope and positivity, which fuels your growth. This is super important. And of course, in a year where there are some challenges like this, staying humble, the willingness to acknowledge some of your mistakes and your past imperfections is the key to actually changing, okay? This vulnerability allows you to learn and to evolve, and even when it's a little bit uncomfortable, okay? So, it's important to take that one step back in order for you to actually make that big transformation the 1 year from now, okay? And determination, right? This is super important. Well, while you don't have any positive stars, you do have stars like moon Shah and flying chase and great Shah and all these so-called challenges. You gotta have that drive to keep striving, moving forward for the better. Even when progress feels a little bit slow and sometimes feel like it's against you, right? That persistence is a testament to your inner strength and your belief in a better future, okay? It's super important. And of course, you gotta have some empathy as well, right? You gotta build some empathy because you're gonna have this leopard tail and separating edge. You find that relationships are like, how come people are always against you? But not to worry, right? Though, you may be unintentionally offending somebody, right? They're trying to understand and connect as well. So be open, have some empathy, right? Your effort to relate to other people, even when it's imperfect, it shows a desire to build better relationships. So that way it works, okay? So again, honesty is the best policy. Don't have to sugarcoat your thoughts too much. Sometimes the raw authenticity, though sometimes might be abrasive, but it can be a strength and when channeled constructively, okay? So remember that. Now, you do have, on a spiritual side, the Baron, okay? Okay, so this star, generally, it's a positive spiritual development. So some of the things that you might have to go through for that spiritual development for yourself this year is that first struggle with self-worth. Right, you might feel a bit inadequate or unworthy, and this could lead to a little bit of a self-sabotage in 2025, or hesitancy to take risks. So in order to mitigate this, you got to practice self-compassion. This is a very important year for you to practice self-compassion. You got to remind yourself that mistakes are just part of growth, and mistakes don't define your true value. All right, you can focus on the small wins. Maybe you don't have big wins with all these, challenging elements, but small wins still possible. All right. So that is the first thing. And number two, you got to learn how to deal with setbacks. A lot of people have a problem that, if I don't win, I don't have my self-worth anymore. Don't do that, okay? Because this year, you obviously don't have any good stars, right? So what do? Well, learn to discipline your disappointments. This is important, all right? You got to learn to discipline your disappointments or setbacks, so that you don't feel like these failures are going to weigh you down. You got to reinforce yourself so that you don't have this low self-esteem. All right, you got to reframe mistakes as learning opportunities. That's what you need to do. All right. Now, number three, you have to be a bit more aware of how you deal with other people, because you don't want to strain relationships due to accidentally offending people too much. Right. So practice active listening, which is super important. Have some empathy and tact before speaking and connecting with others. That will solve this problem with the leopard tail element, no problem, okay? So, and finally, I think you have to, maintain that positivity, admit that adversity that you're possibly going to face, okay? Staying positive mentally, emotionally, right? Uplift your own energy, even though you might feel overwhelmed by some of these challenges, can feel a little bit inauthentic and exhausting, but you need to focus on gratitude. That's what you need to do, right? And you regularly want to reflect on things that you appreciate in your life, no matter how small they are, and that way you can maintain that positive energy, all right? Now, don't fear to be judged. This is important, right? Because sometimes the fear of criticism, when you have all this negative components, sometimes can push you back, right? You fear criticism or judgment, and then leads to you avoiding opportunities or any relationship whatsoever, okay? So again, astrology readings is a guide, okay? It's not predicting your future. It's that, okay, you have these things now, these are the things that you need to do, all right? So if you do this stuff, you can mitigate the problem, all right? So you embrace imperfection, understand that everyone makes mistakes, and you grow from them, right? Focus on authenticity, aim to be genuine rather than perfect, and this builds trust, and it reduces the fear of judgment. That's what you need to do, okay? Now, remember, your chart can have the goat in different sections of the chart. If you don't already have your full parts of chart, see the link that you see on the screen right now, or in the comment section, click that and go and plot your parts of chart, okay? Now, the goat can be in the year, month, day, or hour of birth. So if it's in the year, well, that means possibly your group of friends, your team might be going through some of these problems, and it's not exactly just you alone, okay? So it's a group of people, or your industry might be going through these problems. But if it's the month of birth, that reflects on your work environment, your job, your what you do. And so in your work, maybe there's a bit of lack of support, and you just need to be a bit more, increase your self-awareness, be tactful with your words. Don't let failure push you back, okay? So this is important. You can mitigate it by building trust with other people. Don't fear being judged so much, right? The fear of criticism and all that might push you to avoid opportunities. So be aware of those things if it's in the month of birth, because that actually represents your work. And if it's the relationship palace, which is the day of birth, well, this, whatever we mentioned earlier on, might be reflecting in your personal relationship. So you need to be more aware of not accidentally offending your partner and piss her off or piss him off too much, right? Be careful of the words. Sometimes it doesn't hurt to say something nice, right? Or be very careful of what you're saying, all right? So be aware of it. Self-awareness is super important, all right? And finally, if it's in the hour pillar, well, if it's in the hour pillar, represents your investment opportunities. You gotta be super careful when you're making big decisions in investments, and or it could be your relationship with your staff, your employees, your kids that might be affected. So those are the areas of your life you need to be a little bit more cautious when you're dealing with them, okay? Now, I have prepared a guide that could explain much more than what I've just did up here, and also provide you some feng shui tips to help you mitigate this problem, okay? You're interested in that guide? You can download that following the link that you see on your screen or on the comment section, okay? Now, remember, this is a year to look inwards and make that self-improvement instead of expecting the help coming from outside, all right? This is super important. Don't plan too many big things for 2025. In fact, fix the small things and 2025 will be a fantastic year nonetheless, all right? So here's wishing you a fantastic and peaceful 2025 for those of you born under the sign of the goat.